I think I must have been close to death. I watched my sister walk into the room and sit at the end of the bed. None of the doctors or nurses seemed to see her. I know it must have been pretty bad.
You thought you were going to die? That sucks. What must have been going through your mind?
Honestly, I had this thought that I was going to die and I was 40 years old, and I will have never known what it feels like to have been truly loved by a man. And that hurt. Realizing that I didn't know what it was like to be protected or covered, never loved in a genuine and honest way. My only experiences with it would have been shallow and codependent, that my children would have never had a functional relationship model for them. She stayed in the room with me for 2 days, and on the third day, I woke up and she was gone.
Wow. That's really sad.
I decided I wanted that to change. I decided I would start praying for my partner. I pulled out the smudge bowl, I went over to my praying place, I lit it up. I offered some tobacco and I poured out my heart to the old ones.
So, did you ask for anything specific?
I asked for the man in the word that that old woman gave me. Do you remember it? The man you will marry will be in every way your equal. He will be just as strong. He will be just as smart. He will be just as passionate. Apart, you will do much good. But when you come together and start supporting each other, you will change the world.
You didn't ask for tall, dark, and handsome. You're so fucking weird.
I know, but that's why we're friends.
I gotta know how this story shapes up.
You will. Should be one hell of a ride. Maybe next time this year, we'll be having tea in pairs. Tea in February.
You have to tell me about that dream.
Oh, that was a freaky dream. I was someplace I'd never been before, and this man with the dark suit was coming after me. I couldn't see his face. He just kept coming after me, and as he got closer, I was afraid of him. He caught me, and as soon as he took that last step towards me, I woke up in a panic. I went back to sleep, and I was somewhere else I didn't know, and he was there. Again, he came after me, cornered me, and I woke up in a panic. And after I calmed down, I fell back asleep. I was in another city, and I was in this downtown area and walked past all these cute little coffee shops. I wandered in and ordered a coffee. I put some sugar and cream in it. I stirred it, turned around, and there he was, coming straight for me. The guy in the suit was 3 steps away, but this time I didn't wake up. He grabbed my coffee, put it down on the counter. He wrapped his arms around me. He hugged me tight. And he whispered, "It's okay, you're safe now." Then I woke up.
Do you know who it is?
Not a clue. He's taller than me. He's wearing a dark suit, even though I couldn't see him, and he was right in front of me. I couldn't see his face. I have no idea who he is, and he's a man with no face.
Are you still laying tobacco?
Yeah.
Maybe it's your partner.
I'm not so sure. I can't imagine my partner wearing a suit. I don't trust them at all.
I'm not so sure. Which is probably why you're running from it. So, I happen to know that you know Sue. Yeah.
Good God, I hope not. He's an arrogant, dismissive, pontificating windbag.
Why do you even talk to him?
I'm not sure. It's really not a normal situation. I have a prayer burden there. I feel like I'm supposed to lift him up and help him. It feels more like me beating my head against a wall just to make a single point. Besides, what have I got to lose if he ignores me? It's like it's no skin off my ass. Lots of people ignore me.
Do you talk to him like this?
Oh yeah.
Well, I'm pretty sure that a lot more people are a lot more nicer to him than you are.
My social filter's warped. When I see a man suffocating with his head up his ass, it's a compulsion to say, "Get your head out of your ass." I can't control it. Once he told me I was the most hateful woman he's ever known. I think he's getting used to me. T and March. I've been having dreams, lots of dreams of faceless men.
What kind of dream?
Just normal things. But I don't always recognize where I am. And
Are they the same guy?
no. It's possible it could be a series of faceless guys.
Do you think it's him?
I have been praying that they'll make it really obvious for me because I'm so oblivious. I just don't really notice anything. So I've started having these dreams, and there's a few of them.
Well, maybe this is a good sign because there's a spiritual connection first. All the best relationships start with the spiritual connection first.
I don't know. I think I'd like some of those hubba bubba moments with the goosebumps and the butterflies. You know, when you're just turned on instantly. I want thunder and lightning.
No. You want something more than that because you're praying about it. Most people fall for somebody physically first. Most people think that's normal. There's a lot of heat and chemistry to keep things going, but of course it burns out. It has to move up into the emotional, mental, and spiritual connections. The physical connection first really is a lot of work. The physical fades because the emotional stuff becomes a power struggle, or even the mental stuff sometimes. In some relationship, it never gets to the spiritual place at all because the struggle to connect in the emotional and maybe the mental is constant. It is rare, but occasionally it happens that that connection is made in the intellect or the spirit, and that moves the relationship down to the physical. And those are the kind of loves that run a deep kind that very few people will understand. I think that's the kind of love that you're praying for. So don't be overly surprised if your partner is actually somebody that you're not even physically attracted to, but somebody that you grow into.
So you think he'll be like a wart and grow on me?
I think I want you to have the best for you. And you might even want to be open to that process.
It sounds like a long-ass process. I'm kind of hoping to get laid sometime before the year's up.
Do you want to get laid or do you want a relationship?
Oh, now I think I'm rubbing off too much on you. Tea in April. I couldn't believe it. Seriously, I went back to my place and cried in the shower. I didn't want the kids to even see me cry.
Okay, wait a second. You need to slow this down and start at the beginning.
Well, I told you I was having dreams.
Yeah.
One of them came true.
Really? Tell me, don't leave anything out.
I might cry. I'm serious. I was not happy at all.
Spill it.
I had this dream that I was at this event in the city here, and I knew which building I was in, and I'd been in front of that Pedway before. In the dream, a girlfriend grabbed me and spun me around to talk to me. She was facing the Pedway, and I heard the old women behind me say, "He's here." I looked up, and the faceless man was coming across the Pedway.
Keep going.
So I ended up at that event. I came around the corner, and that same girlfriend grabbed me and spun me. And she was talking when all of a sudden I realized this was my dream coming true. In my dream, I heard them say, "He's here," but I didn't hear that. I just knew I had to look up and he'd be there. So I looked up, and it was,
Oh my God, tell me. What?
this here.
No way.
Yes, right.
Oh my God, that's just...
Yeah, that's what I heard in my spirit too. I heard old women laughing and laughing and laughing.
So what did you do?
I left, I went home, I cried in the shower. It was the last thing I expected.
Are you guys even talking?
No, and quite frankly, I'm not in any rush to have much to do with them. The last time I spoke was not good. I kind of just gave up believing that he'd ever be the kind of guy who understands how to bridge the silos. He's so bullheaded. I told him off, he told me off. We haven't spoken in weeks, and the last time he emailed me and tried to suck me back into working with him, I basically told him to kiss my ass.
But what if he's the one?
We will not be entertaining that idea at this time, and possibly never entertaining that idea.
Fuck, you're hilarious.
I'm serious, I cried, man. I was so disappointed. Could you imagine the ultimate deja vu moment in history? Your heart's pounding, your brain screaming, this is it, and it's fucking him. The same him who pisses you off, makes you feel insignificant, the same him that blows you off and won't look you in the eye in public. I was hoping for someone I could just gush over, and there was none of that. It was so disappointing.
Maybe the old ones know something that you don't know.
Oh, shut up. Team name.
So, any new dreams come true?
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Come on! Don't be like that.
I really don't know where to park it. I find it confusing and upsetting.
Well, that doesn't sound too good.
A second dream came true. In my dream, I was in this building at road level, and I was talking to the kids. I walked around a corner. I could see someone crossing the road, and I heard the old woman say, "He's here." So, in that building, I was in that building, talking to my kids. I walked around the corner. I looked up, and it was that same feeling. So I looked across the road, and I looked across the road, and the suit was crossing the road.
What? I see you in the suit are on speaking terms.
Yes, we were working on something. Sometimes I come in handy, but you're done now.
You don't seem too excited or happy about this. I think it's kind of romantic and exciting. You guys are talking, and 2 dreams have come true.
I'm confused because I don't understand. I don't feel close to him. I don't feel safe with him. I don't feel heard by him. I barely feel like we're friends. We've spent a maximum of 15 minutes together in 2 years. We've never really hung out, and our communication is always so crappy. And it's not like we could go out for coffee and talk for hours. I don't know how he fits in my life, and I don't even understand how we ended up in the same location.
So you really aren't cool with this, are you?
No, I'm not.
Why not?
Because he comes from and he wears his privilege so openly. I want him to recognize his privilege and open himself up to using it in new ways. When I think of this idea of a partner, I don't think of someone who doesn't connect with me on multiple levels. I'm not expecting that he would never fight or that we would be codependent and not be able to function without each other. I value my independence and autonomy. But when it comes to him, I don't feel like we're equals. It's probably just me and my prejudices, but I just don't feel it.
Maybe you are the one who's getting the prophecy mixed up. She said that he will be in every way equal. Do you think he's smarter than you?
Oh, he's got brain cells. The whole theoretical academic standard down. But when it comes to being practical and just understanding how things work for people, he can really be a dumbass. I think this might be why we work well together. As long as I can bring a strong argument forward to compel him to consider doing things differently, show him an advantage to changing his approach, then it works. But he doesn't see how alienating and isolating it is to have to work that hard just to be heard. I'm pretty tenacious. I will persevere if I see a point in it. But most people would just quit and call him an asshole. He doesn't get that. So, do I consider him smarter? No, not really. It's just a different kind of smart. It's important, but not more important.
Well, is he equally strong and equally passionate?
Yeah, it's different, but equal.
Then I don't even get what you're saying about not being equal.
It's about privilege. He's a business owner, he's educated, he's got houses and vehicles, goes on vacation to faraway places. It's one thing to be working on a project together, and that keeps the conversation focused and targeted, but outside of that, what else is there? When I do share with him my reality, I can sense the disconnect. I share about the poverty, the overwhelming challenges of an Indigenous single mother. He can sort of understand the parenting part of it, but it's so far from his reality as a middle-class man. For me, there are no breaks. There's no one I can count on to co-parent. I can't afford a bus pass, let alone a car payment. It feels like charity. It feels like pity. And like he can't really see me as a human being. He sees someone who doesn't have her shit together and needs help. I don't think he sees me as his equal in any sense. He's not looking at my strength or my intelligence or my heart. It's most likely my own shit. But it's there. There's a part of me that doesn't trust him simply because he's a suit. They want porcelain dolls that they can dress up and parade out. They want what they are, and I'm not any of those things. I'm just this scrappy single mom with no connections and no privilege. It's not about being equal as the prophecy says. I think we're really close. It's unequal in the sense of this crappy neo-colonialism that we have to live in. I have trouble believing that he's capable of extracting himself from it and allowing himself to get to know me better. We're both comfortable where we're at.
You don't have a lot of faith in that way, do you?
No, I don't. Let's talk about something else. Art, music, politics, but this shit's depressing me. Tea and Jude. In my dream, I was in this place I'd never been before. It was a powwow. Gorgeous place, man. So beautiful. In a valley surrounded by teepees and tents. I was talking to this man with no face. And he leaned back casually on a table with a huge gust of wind came up, blew my hair all over hell. I pushed it back behind my ears with a laugh. We made eye contact. He looked down and blushed. It came true.
Is there any letter?
No.
A suit?
Yeah.
That's unexpected.
I was floating around. I noticed that he was away from the crowd and asked me to speak. I asked to speak to him for a couple minutes. I don't want to be one of thousands of girls chasing his ass around an event. I always rather be in quiet spaces. And when it happened, I was in mid-sentence. The wind came up. It happened exactly like the dream. I actually gasped. I tried to hold my composure, but I seriously just wanted to run.
You know, you are the one who's establishing a pattern here.
I know.
At least you aren't upset about it anymore. Does that mean that you might finally be accepting the choice of the old ones?
No. Right now, I'm still actively resisting. There could be other reasons for this. They could be trying to teach me a lesson. We might have other business.
How did he treat you? Was it better than last year?
It was considerably better. He wasn't dismissive or looking around to find somebody more appropriate to talk to. He actually kind of seemed relaxed. It was a refreshingly normal conversation.
Ooh, that's good news. Maybe.
No. We spoke for 10 minutes. It's not going to make or break anything. It could still be years before we actually have a real conversation that isn't polite and surface level.
And so how much of that is him? And how much of that is actually you?
It's probably equal. I don't see him going out of his way to talk to me. He knew I was there. He didn't text me or call me over. He stayed in his spot. I stayed in mine. I just happened to see him alone and took the opportunity. It just happened that way. If it were up to him, we might never speak.
You are terrible.
I know. Tea in July, or no tea in July.
Everyone was at the powwow.
Tea in August.
So, how was your visit?
It's hard to say. Lots of highlights, lots of lowlights. Wasn't what I expected. I'm glad I went. I learned a lot. But I wasn't prepared enough. The truck broke down. And I ended up stranded on the road.
Well, how'd you get out of that one?
I don't want to tell you.
You have to tell me.
The suit.
What? How the heck did that happen?
I told him I was in trouble, and before I could blink, the kids and I were packed up, the truck was towed, parts were ordered.
Holy shit!
I could never in a million years pay him back.
Was that in a dream?
No dreams about being stranded on a road.
Did you even get to see him?
No, not really. I got a few texts from a few people he asked me to contact, but didn't really hear much from him.
Did it change anything for you?
I found it confusing. I'll be honest, I'm not used to anyone going so far out of their way for me. It threw me. He was kind, he was generous, he was humble about it. I didn't expect that. I also didn't expect him to help. I was just venting. I didn't think he was paying attention, you know? In a way,
I believe he was showing you something. If he didn't care, he would have totally just ignored you. You know? Not that long ago, you would have never trusted him enough to even tell him that you were in trouble.
yeah, I've been considering it.
Ooh, has the armor been pierced?
No. Dented a bit, but not pierced. In September.
So how many now? 4? 5?
I guess this is 4. There's only one left.
Well,
Still. I dreamed I was in a car. Someone was speaking through a speakerphone. I could hear them talking. He asked how many children I had, and my heart broke. I almost started crying.
I don't get it.
Well, it happened. We were on our way to that conference. She got a call. It was a suit. It was really awkward. I was the topic of conversation, and I was in the room. So insignificant that I wasn't even worth including in a conversation about myself. That's when he asked her how many kids I had. I just knew instantly, this is the heartbreak of the dream. I didn't understand why I would be heartbroken by such a simple question in the dream, but having lived it, I understood.
Well, to me that seems simple enough, so you're gonna have to explain.
He and I don't have that fluidity or ease in our relationship at all. He doesn't call me or text me. I'm sitting right there, and he'd rather talk to someone who doesn't know me about me. So I guess it was the realization that I'm just not part of that group of people he's comfortable with. I understand it. We tend to argue. I'm not always his biggest fan, and it hurts to be, but it still hurts to be excluded, even when you're included.
Wow. You got all that from that little tiny bit. You seem to be digging really deep to find an offense. What about the kids?
It's similar. Anyone who really knows me knows my kids are my world. I've been talking to this guy for 2 years. We've talked about our children. When he talks about his children, I pay attention because they're very important to him. When he asked about mine, I realized there's a level of understanding that's not reciprocated. When I pray for him, I extend that over his children and his family because they're important to him. And that doesn't come back. That's what made me want to cry. It showed me exactly where I stand with him. Way on the outside.
Maybe he's just too busy. Or maybe he forgot.
Or maybe it's time to stop making excuses and ask myself some hard questions. Right from the first dream, I didn't want it to be him.
True. There is a lot of baggage, though, that comes with this job. There's a lot of baggage that comes with what you do. There's a lot of baggage that comes with being a single parent. It's probably time to look into that.
I've been asking myself a lot of questions about who I am and why I can't accept that these dreams keep coming true associated to him. It's insanity, really. Chasing down a set of deja vu moments and trying to make them fit some pattern. But it's got me thinking about what I want in a relationship. I want someone who thinks I'm worth knowing. I want someone who sees me as I am instead of what I don't have. I think someone who thinks that I'm good enough, fun, and sexy. I want someone who wants to know about my children, someone who wants to call me, someone who wants to know my opinions. I want someone I don't have to chase down or feel like I'm competing for, and in all honesty, it's not him, and he's never been that guy. I'm sure he likes me fine, and he's proven that he cares enough to make a difference if I'm in trouble. But he's not the one. He's just the one in my dreams.
I don't know. I still kind of have hope. There's too many dreams and way too much coincidence.
Maybe. Maybe this year isn't about finding him as much as it's about finding out about myself. Maybe it isn't about him at all, but about figuring out what it is about me that pushes men like him away. And in a way, it's an answer to prayer because I'm pretty sure what I don't want.
Well, that sucks because I want it to be him.
I ain't Snow White, and he's no Prince Charming, and this may not be the fairy tale you signed up for.
Obviously not. Can't you just entertain the idea, like, just for a little bit, so I can keep my faith in romance?
No. tea in October.
You did what?
I wrote him and I told him everything. I told him about the dreams, I told him about my confusion over the whole card thing, I told him I'd gone to ceremonies, spoken to elders, and I asked him what he thought.
What did he say?
Oh, he was quite polite, but basically said, the dreams are wrong, it must be somebody else.
So he didn't block you and call you a nut job?
No. He handled my weirdness in stride.
So, what made you do that?
Fear. There's only one dream left. I had a dream that I was dressed up for some reason. It was some kind of special event. I'm standing there talking with some guys who are being somewhat inappropriate, but it's kind of flattering. And everybody shifts their attention to the door, and there's this man walking straight towards us. I hear the old ladies whisper, he's here. He comes right to me, kisses my forehead, puts his hand around my waist, and walks me away. This dream hasn't come true, but it's the last of the dreams of the faceless man. And I realized that I own that dress. I realized that I know that location. I realized I know the faces of all those other men. This one could very easily come true, and I needed to know what he thought. It was time.
But he says it's not possible on his part either.
Yeah. So I'm not the only one confused by these old ones.
This makes me really sad because I'm still holding out hope.
We're not close. I almost wish that I didn't have the dreams, as I actually have more hope for starting something new with someone I don't know than trying to figure out what the hell to do with this one I can't see myself with. All year long I tried following the dreams and the prophecy, and it all led in one direction. There's something there because we trust each other. And we have each other's backs in a pinch. But is that worth growing? I asked him, and he said no.
Well, he has a lot of duty and responsibility. Maybe he just can't consider it at this time.
I've no reason to believe he's lying to me. We're honest with each other, probably to a fault. If he says it's not there, then it's not there. And I have to honor that word.
That sucks. What happens now?
He wants to stay friends. But I want to walk away now. I can support him and raise him up, pray for him, and try to help him if I can, but it's really not adding significantly to his life. I've learned so much more than I knew, and I've already decided that we need to take a long break, probably a permanent one. Because as long as he's anywhere in my life, I'll follow the prophecy and those stupid dreams. I need to let that go.
I can't live vicariously through your dreams anymore. Seriously? I just wanted the cool romantic ending. You suck at this.
I know. Tea in November. I really don't want to talk about it.
Okay then. Art, music, or politics?
Microeconomies.
Now what are you up to?
Tea in December. It's almost a year since I laid my tobacco down and asked for a life partner. Weird, I thought for sure we'd be having tea in pairs.
Me too. Was it worth it?
Yeah, I think so. I learned a lot of things this year about love, relationships, reciprocity, and friendship. And I learned what I want and what I don't want.
Well, are you planning to continue your search next year?
I'm considering it. But maybe with one small change.
What's that?
This year, the goal isn't to find a life partner. This year, I'm cool with just getting laid.
Well, let's just hope that that's not on your dreams.